Hey everyone, this is DeFi Dad. I am here today interviewing Richard Chen of One Confirmation. I'm interviewing on behalf of Real Vision, so I'm honored to be able to join the conversation and talk more about the latest thoughts around DeFi, NFTs, Web3, and so on. So I am a super user and an educator in the DeFi, crypto, NFT space, whatever umbrella you want to put me under. And I am also an investor at Fourth Revolution Capital, where we partner with teams that are building the future of Web3. And so, Richard, instead of me giving your background, would you want to give a brief introduction? Just tell us about your long career in crypto.
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Richard. I'm a general partner at One Confirmation. We're a seed stage fund. We invest in both tokens and equities. We lead pretty much every seed deal we do. We make very few but concentrated bets. And we're also a very thesis-driven fund. So we'll form thesis on emerging categories like DeFi, NFTs before they're big, and make concentrated bets and hold those visions like OpenSea in 2018, DYDX in 2017, and just let the thesis play out rather than doing any trading or speculating on narratives. So we were really one of the first funds back in 2017 to be structured as venture, when most funds were structured as hedge funds that are more interested in trading. And I think that's played out pretty well to have that long-term conviction around different areas in crypto.
Yeah, Richard has, whether he signed up for it or not, he's kind of been a mentor to me. And I think I am older than you, but I look up to you.
You're definitely older than me.
I'm definitely older than you? Oh, okay. Don't say definitely. Say it like it's based on your looks. It's obvious that you're older. Well, anyways, Richard, let's talk about the way that you've thought about some of the really notable investments you've made, back a few years ago versus now. So I was hoping we could talk through this almost like an investment memo. And, there's a bunch of just, enormous brand names in your portfolio that I've looked up to, like OpenSea and SuperRare. Would you be comfortable talking through either one of those, what you can remember about first impressions and maybe how you scored them before you made that investment?
Yeah, so I can start with OpenSea. So I knew one of the co-founders, Alex Atala, back from college, and I heard about them when they went through YC. And really the thesis was simple, is that back in 2017, 2018, if you wanted to trade CryptoKitties, they were charging 5% on their platform. And OpenSea was a secondary marketplace where you could trade CryptoKitties for 2.5%. And because NFTs are these composable assets, you didn't need to do it within the walled garden of CryptoKitties. You can do it on a different platform. And our thesis is NFTs was this new asset class, was going to become big. It was just a matter of when that was going to happen. And the best exposure to the space was to bet on a marketplace. So back then there were a lot of different NFT projects like CryptoKitties, EtherBots, EtherRocks, CryptoCities. If you go back and read our investment memos, and we listed out the names of all the NFT projects back then, almost all of them don't exist anymore. But the much more risk-adjusted bet was just to bet on the marketplace rather than a specific NFT project. So I remember back in early 2018, it was OpenSea and Rarebits were the two marketplaces. So the thesis there was that Rarebits was a much more polished team. They were ex-Zynga. They raised a lot more money from VCs. I think they raised $8 million led by first round or something. And they were a Silicon Valley team that looked good on paper. But the OpenSea team, they hustled a lot more. They were more nimble and scrappy. They were living in Discords and were very aggressive about integrating, listing new NFT projects. So we liked the hustle more than the polished resume. And that's what led us towards investing in OpenSea. And turns out that paid off pretty well over the next few years.
Yeah, I remember the OpenSea team joined us at an one of the live ethereal conferences, and I think it was 2019, spring 2019. And there was this terrible stage set up, which I partially should own some of the blame in. Anyway, Devin was on a panel about NFTs, and it was something interesting to me at the time, but the audience was caught up in like, bear market topics. There was a lot more talk, I think, even around Bitcoin at that point. And anyways, I think it's almost like funny now. He was upstairs in this room. It must have been 100 degrees, giving a talk to a very small group of people. And I have always thought about that, like just like admiring their success and thinking like, this person who probably has notably become one of like the most like impactful founders in our space was giving a panel talk in 100-degree room with barely anybody listening to them. So anyways, Devin, if you ever see this, I'm so sorry about that. So we talked through OpenSea, a team that really has garnered a lot more respect more recently because they launched their token, and it was a very well-received token drop with SuperRare. I'm curious if you can remember much about the early details when you made that investment in SuperRare, because similar team to OpenSea, but also very different. Anyways, if you can walk me through any of the details there.
Yeah, so we invested in SuperRare summer of 2020, so summer last year. And like SuperRare, they've been around since like early 2018, like similar to OpenSea, but have just kind of grinded through the bear market, just waiting for like crypto art as a category to take off. And the founders are like very missionary, like John, Jonathan, and Charles are very missionary founders who just stuck around and like kept their burn rate low, just waiting for the space to take off. And I think what really drew me to SuperRare were two things. One, so if you look at the data for like SuperRare volume like last year, while like the y-axis was like still like pretty small, it was growing like 50% month over month. So like that like really like drew my attention, because like based on exponential growth, if you plot that out, then like eventually the y-axis will become like super massive, like where you'll be doing like tens of millions in monthly volume. And the second thing is like they just had a super passionate early community of users. And like, people in crypto always talk about community is the most important. And I think SuperRare really nailed that, more so than like any other NFT marketplace. And that's really how you get product market fit, is like from having a really sticky early user base. And one of our portfolio founders, actually, Shane Copeland, he was an early SuperRare collector, and he like brought it back on our radar. It's like, hey, you should be looking at this more now. And I guess then once the NFT narrative flipped, then like SuperRare as well as OpenSea were just very well positioned to ride that wave.
One thing that's interesting about this is because I know that you as one confirmation, you make concentrated bets. So you're not spraying and praying into multiple similar types of protocols. I would say of everything in the protocol, this was something that I thought was notably the most similar, but still very distinct. Was that ever a concern when you were making that investment in 2020, given the bets you'd already placed on OpenSea?
No, OpenSea and SuperRare are very different. Like OpenSea is a secondary marketplace, and like SuperRare is like primarily a primary marketplace with big secondary sales of like blue chips artworks from like Xcopy, Pak, Hackatow, and like others, like other early artists. And actually, like a big thesis of ours is lately has been like kind of the unbundling of OpenSea, where you have like specific marketplaces for certain verticals. So like we're in SuperRare for crypto art, we're in Catalog for music NFTs, we're in Sloika for photography NFTs. And I think there'll be a world where, yes, you have OpenSea like eBay or Amazon, where you can like really buy and sell anything. You'll have like also have specific marketplaces for like certain categories, just like what you saw in Web 2. And I think that same thesis will play out in Web 3. So they're not like directly competitive with each other.
Were you an NFT collector already as you were making those investments, or did you find yourself more interested to collect as a result of some of these investments?
Yeah, as a result. So like when I started looking at SuperRare closely, I remember the first artwork that actually there was like one piece by Pak called Duplicate that really got me into SuperRare. Unfortunately, it was like way out of my price range, but I got started collecting, and then it was like super addicting, and then like I just, the bug just got me.
Hey, if you like this clip, be sure to check out the full interview and more only on realvision.com/crypto. It's 100% free. Sign up now.